Up with KREM begins now.
Well, good morning. Welcome to Up with KREM. It is 6 o'clock now. Happy Wednesday. I'm Nicole Hernandez.
And I'm Tim Pham. Well, gosh, it was toasty yesterday.
Oh my gosh, tell me about it.
We'll get a little bit of relief today, but still very hot today. But we're also under a weather impact alert.
Yes, we are still under that weather impact alert. If you were outside at all yesterday, past 11 a.m., it was definitely hot. You were probably sweating if you're doing anything more than just jumping out to grab the mail or anything like that. But take a look at this. Difference today, we get clouds. There's already some clouds out over Coeur d'Alene right there, and we're warm. We are still going to be in the 90s here in Spokane potentially, but instead of solidly in the 90s, we're going to end up more at like potentially just at 90 or even potentially the high 80s. Right now we are at 70 degrees here in Spokane. We have not dropped below 70 degrees yet this morning, and we might just stay there now that the sun is up. But we do have the clouds again. So the difference between 96 and super sunny and 90 with clouds is actually going to feel pretty significant because of that relief from clouds will make it feel a little bit less intense, even though we are still hot. We have high fire danger though today, particularly through central Washington. So coming up, I'll let you know when that is and why we see this higher fire danger.
Here's a live look at the traffic impact this morning from I-90 and Freya. Looking east right now. Traffic moving great at this hour. No major issues to report on I-90. We'll keep a close eye on our cameras throughout the morning. On Up with KREM, we bring you weather and traffic together every 30 minutes. We want to get you updated on breaking news from overnight. Highway 2 is back open near the Y in North Spokane after a crash overnight. Washington State Patrol says a driver sped away from a trooper on Division just before midnight. The trooper followed the driver until they took off at an even higher speed. At that point, the trooper stopped pursuing the driver, but a few minutes later, they found the driver and the vehicle crashed into a pole on Highway 2 at the Y there. We are working to find out if anyone was hurt or if arrests were made following the crash. We'll keep you updated throughout the morning here on Up with KREM as we learn more details. In just a few hours, the man charged with killing 4 University of Idaho students is set to appear in court.
We are expecting Brian Coberger to accept a plea deal. In exchange, the state would not ask for the death penalty. It has now been more than 2.5 years since the 4 University of Idaho students were killed in their off-campus home in the middle of the night.
The investigation and legal proceedings played out over the last 2 years, and while today is a major milestone in the case, it's always been about seeking justice for the 4 victims. Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, and Kaylee Consalves. This morning, we are bringing you complete team coverage.
So Tim and I will be breaking down today's proceedings. Brandon T. Jones has reaction from the victims' family members, and KREM 2's Amanda Rowley is in Boise for today's hearing.
Our team coverage begins with Amanda Rowley in Boise, where there is already a large media presence for this high-profile case. Amanda?
Good morning, Tim and Nicole. I am outside the Ada County Courthouse. Got here about 5:30 this morning. We watched the sun come up, and as you mentioned, we're already seeing several media outlets here. I want to give you an idea of what it looks like here outside the courthouse. Right next to me is the staging area for cameras, media coverage. I've seen several major networks. If you look beyond that to the ramp, that is where reporters, media are lining up to get a spot, hoping to get a spot in the courtroom for that plea hearing. If you look towards the right of the main entrance of the courthouse, that's another camera staging area for media. Now, I have heard some crews got here at about 2:30 this morning lining up. We have spot number 20, so we are hoping to get a seat in the courtroom for this plea hearing. This is a huge development in this case. It was an unexpected development, certainly. This plea deal for Brian Coberger potentially takes the death penalty off the table, and we're looking at, this is something where the families of the victims, as well as the community of Moscow and University of Idaho, have been looking for closure. And boy, did this case take a 180 turn, looking ahead down this plea hearing that's coming up later this morning. Tim and Nicole.
you go, I want to ask you, I know it's still very early in the morning. I was just texting with Ben Mogan, the father of Maddie Mogan, and he tells me that he'll be at the hearing. Have you seen any other family members of the victims or Coberger's family at the courthouse?
Yeah, great question, Tim. We have not seen any of the family members here as of yet. We do know the courthouse opens at 8 o'clock Mountain Time, and we are keeping an eye out. So yes, we do know the Mogan family will be here. We've heard that the Ethan Chapin's family will be here as well. I also do have a call out to the local law enforcement from Moscow, Latah County, to see if any sort of support is going to be brought in from the community there. But we are keeping an eye out, and I'll let you know if we do see family members coming in today.
That was, of course, our Amanda Rowley reporting. We'll be with her again at 7 o'clock this morning. Now, we won't know all the details of the plea deal until today's hearing, but here's what the families have said it includes. In return for Cobberger pleading guilty to murdering the 4 students, prosecutors will drop the death penalty. Instead, they would ask the judge to have Cobberger serve 4 consecutive life sentences. He would also waive his right to appeal.
So let's break down some possible outcomes. There are 3 possible outcomes expected in today's hearing. First, Coberger and the judge accept the plea, and the judge sentence him immediately. Second, Coberger and the judge accept the plea, and a sentencing date is scheduled. And if that happens, victim impact statements would be a part of that sentencing. Families have been told the sentencing hearing could happen later this month. Finally, Coberger or the judge could reject the plea deal, and the trial will continue as planned in August.
In the past few days, we have heard from some of the families of the 4 students. Their reactions to the plea deal have been mixed.
KREM 2's Brandon T. Jones joining us now live with a look at some of what they have to say, Brandon, and it sounds like there's some mixed response from the different families.
Yeah, that's right, Tim, Nicole. It's been 2.5 years since those 4 students were found dead in their off-campus home in Moscow. So it's clear the sudden news of a plea deal caught some of the families by surprise. Those families found out about the plea deal in a letter they received over the weekend. In it, the Latah County Prosecutor's Office says Coberger's attorneys requested a deal and he accepted it. The family of Kaylee Gonsalves said they were not consulted about the agreement. In a statement, the family said they did not approve of a plea deal, saying they are, quote, beyond furious at the state of Idaho, adding they have failed us. We also have heard from Ben Mogan, the father of Madison Mogan. He told CBS News for him, the plea deal is justice.
That means that we can actually put this behind us and not have these future dates and future things that we don't want to have to be at, that we shouldn't have to be at, that have to do with this terrible person and what terrible things get to have to happen to him because of the terrible things he did. I mean, we get to just think about the rest of our lives and have to try and figure out how to do it without Maddie and without the rest of the kids they were the best people in our families, you know? She's the best person. She was so good.
The family of Ethan Chapin have also said they are supportive of the deal. We don't know which family members will officially be at today's hearing, but one thing the Gonsalves family told KREM 2 is they feel the state is rushing the plea and not giving families enough notice to make it to Boise. We'll have more reactions from those families later today as soon as the hearing wraps up. In the studio, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
Now, we also heard from Brian Coberger's family. They said in a statement, quote, "We will continue to allow the legal process to unfold with respect to all parties and will not release any comments or take any questions. We ask that you respect our wishes during a difficult time for all those affected." And it's certainly been a long path to get to this expected plea deal. In our next half hour, we will take a look back at some of the key events in this investigation and explain how they led to today's hearing.
Our coverage does not stop here. We have crews covering all aspects of today's hearing. We will have live coverage from Boise from both inside and outside the courtroom. Join us for special live coverage on KREM 2 Plus starting at 10 a.m. We'll be streaming the whole hearing on KREM 2 Plus and our YouTube page. If you don't already have KREM 2 Plus, you can download it on your TV and watch for free. To our other top stories this morning, the road at South Odell and Palouse Highway shut down last night after a body was found on the side of the road. Spokane County Fire District 8 says a call came in around 7:30 p.m. saying a man was found on the side of the road with severe head trauma. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Right now, the Spokane County Sheriff's Office is investigating the scene. We are working to find out when the road will reopen.
Well, it was emotional yesterday as a procession of emergency vehicles escorted the two fallen firefighters back home to Coeur d'Alene. Fellow firefighters and people from the community packed overpasses and exits along the procession route. Everyone there to show support for the two firefighters who were shot and killed while responding to a brush fire. One woman we talked to was there because fire crews once saved her life.
Fire Marshal Jim told me that I was blessed because the house was engulfed in flames and I got out okay. So I'm so grateful to them.
There's a lot of support out there, and I just hope that people don't forget that this happened today, that we remember the firefighters today who lost their lives, and that we always remember not to let hate control us and not to let these things continue to happen, because this is truly a travesty.
The two firefighters are Battalion Chiefs John Morrison and Frank Harwood. They each had worked in and served the North Idaho community for decades.
Coeur d'Alene City Council held a moment of silence for the fallen firefighters last night. Those in attendance for their weekly meeting are still in shock. Eastside firefighter and chaplain Dave Bruette was sent to the fire station near Canfield Mountain to comfort fellow firefighters who were also on the mountain at the time of the shooting. He says many of the unknown questions at the time were ones he was asking himself.
Are you safe when you go? You know, is somebody out there waiting for you? Right? And does my family know where I'm at? Do they know I'm safe? There's no words to articulate what we're going through, what you're experiencing. You really can't say a whole lot to anybody except being present is what's most important.
He says going forward, he's emphasizing the importance of mental health for those putting their lives on the line in the community. As the search for the accused killer, Travis Decker, enters a second month, investigators say evidence found at the crime scene where his three daughters were murdered links him to their deaths. Peyton, Evelyn, and Olivia were found near a campsite west of Leavenworth last month. Police confirmed two bloody handprints found at the scene are a DNA match for Decker. Search teams have been using canines and cadaver dogs to help track him down in the mountains of Chelan and Kittitas counties. Now the National Park Service is planning to send swift water rescue teams to search nearby lakes and rivers.